we've got Terry on the line here. You're a former law enforcement officer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
18 years. Wow. Do you mind giving us just a little bit of background? Save any details if you don't want your personal information out there.
Oh, sure. I went on in '89. I was involved in a foot pursuit. I broke my spine, and I've been out. I've been in the detective bureau, cop, you name it. I've done it.
Wow.
So that's about it.
Well, I want to kick this off. I had some questions lined up, but I just logged on to the Drudge Report, and I saw that Obama signed an executive order to basically seize all communications in the event of an emergency. What are your thoughts on that?
We're in big trouble, man. We're in big trouble. You know what? I knew that was coming. I knew there was a lot of stuff coming down the line. You know, people don't realize how bad it's gotten. And, I was a cop who played by the rules, and people realize how much power the police have. You know, you stop someone just to stop and detain someone in this country, to deprive them of their liberty, their freedom of movement. That's a lot of goddamn power for one person to have. And I think people don't realize it. There's a lot of people that don't realize that. And there's guys out there that abuse it. And it's just, I don't think guys who are on the police department actually know the power. I don't think they think about it when they stop someone and say, throw them up against the wall. I don't think they really think, this is an awesome power in this country to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I never took it lightly, Pete. I never took it lightly. I wasn't a Boy Scout, but I never played in that gray area where it's getting bad. You can't violate people's rights.
But isn't that to a certain extent? Isn't that what the police department and the government is looking for? Aren't they looking for people who will step across the line and pretty much violate the law and for what they want? Because I had a buddy that tried to get into the police force, and he's a real honest guy, real nice guy. And they didn't tell him why, but he took he went through the evaluation and the test, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we don't need someone like you." But I have a feeling it's because he was a nice guy and didn't pass that psychological kind of background of the person that they want. More like, forgive me for saying this, but kind of like sociopathic behavior. You'd be willing to do anything that we say.
Right. They usually weed people out through that psychological, but you know what? That never works. Never works. I'm not an educated man. I went to high school. My father was a cop. My grandfather. I used to hear stories of my grandmother talking about corruption back in when he was a New York City cop. They had to pay $300 to some Tammany Hall so he got his job. The corruption and stuff, it's poison to the core, and it starts at the local level, and I don't care what anyone says, it goes right up to the top. You know it, and that's why I like the guys, the videos you guys do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of police officers, believe it or not, that actually think, that know it's so corrupt. We always talked about this. We said, what happens if they ever said to you, time to go get the gun from the people. I talked this with a bunch of guys. I would throw my badge in the garbage. I would have said, fuck you, I'm done.
Well, and let me ask you, how many, as a percentage, how many police officers, by your estimation, do you think would go along with an illegal, unconstitutional order like that?
I tell you, you know what? I don't think you'd get the real street cops to go with it. Think about it. It's that, God forbid that ever happened. I think you'd have captains and lieutenants out there banging on doors. And think about it. Who in their right mind? They wouldn't pay me enough to go to someone's door and come and catch a firearm.
Well, and that's it. That's a fast. Yeah, that's a fast way to get killed. If you're an officer. There's a certain amount of self-preservation that as a human being you got to have and understand that there are people out there. There are people like me, and I'm willing to say it, on camera, online. You come for my guns, one of us is going to end up dead. And there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that think that way.
Sure, and and that would be total. I think Corey C made a video, or someone made a video. What's your breaking point? Or you might have made it. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But that would be my breaking point. I mean, if they came for my firearms, and it's scary because it could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. And I'm so scared. I got little kids, and it's tough. I just see it. I think it's a collective fear everyone has, and nobody wants to do nothing about it. They're all watching television. They're worried about whose panties Kardashian's washing. What sink there she's washing her pants in.
Yeah.
And to give you a percentage of the guys, I don't know. It would depend. It would depend on really is it. They've hired these guys today, and nobody interacts with the public. Nobody gets out of the car and says hello to the people. And now they actually blaming the public for the crime. They want you to rat on your neighbor. When I was a detective for 3 years, I went out and hit the streets. If I needed information, I never expected anyone to rat. I mean, you cultivate informants, but you don't go out there and say, okay, well, this is happening in your community because you don't rat on the next guy. Don't be rash, get out there, talk to people. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. It used to be, and I remember this stories from my parents, and you said, your grandmother was talking about, well, there's always been corruption, but I mean, it really is getting worse. I remember stories from my parents to where the police officer was kind of the the community good guy. You'd be walking down the street and it'd be like, oh, there's the cop, everyone say hi, and they're there to help out, and now it's kind of like everyone's behind the aviator sunglasses looking at you sideways, and everyone's a suspect.
It's that us against you attitude, and I've never subscribed to that, and there were people telling me, you join the police department, it's not the people on the street you got to worry about, it's the guys you work with. And I'm not saying they're all bad, but there are some that, actually go out and do police work. I mean, get out of the car and talk to people. And the biggest thing is there's discretion. You don't have to arrest everyone you see. Have a night, and you know what? You're not a doormat for the public to walk on. But you have certain discretion. You gotta have a thick skin. You gotta let people go sometimes. It's all changed. It's all changed. Like I said, you know what? I'm not the Boy Scout or the angel on the top of the friggin' tree, but I know enough to treat people right, to treat people like you want to be treated.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny. I was in Starbucks actually yesterday, and there were two police officers sitting down having coffee, and I need to use the restroom. So I walked up and I said, "Excuse me, are you gentlemen going to be here for a minute?" And they gave me this look, like, "Why are you even talking to me?" Almost like
Right.
why is this simpleton, this person, this public person, just walking up and talking? And I said, "Do you mind, keeping an eye on my laptop?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I came out and I thanked them afterwards, but it was kind of this, like the nerve. How dare you talk to me? Almost like royalty.
It's awful, isn't it, Pete? It's awful. I mean, I'm a civilian now, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know, but I just don't see it. And there are more guys that are afraid to speak up. There are a lot of guys that are afraid to speak up. As a matter of fact, I know it.
Yeah.
But I know if the shit ever hit the fan, or you're not gonna count on the police because they're not gonna be around.
And dude, well, that's what we saw with Katrina, is half of them just abandoned their post. I mean, and that really kind of shows you the moral fortitude that these people have. And it's, I mean, is it only about a paycheck now, and it's just do what you're told?
I don't know. There's orders, immoral orders, and stuff like that you cannot follow. There's stuff that you cannot follow. You swore to uphold the Constitution. You better goddamn well read it. If you're in rookie school It's
Yeah.
all, and
Yeah.
it's happening. I see it. They're going in and shooting